Thanks for taking the time to tune into the Peak Q Review provided by Peak Wealth Management. I'm Nick Hopwood, the founder and president of Peak, where we believe by providing education and guidance, we can inspire you to make great decisions. Today we're going to cover the economy and markets for the fourth quarter of 2016 and also look ahead to 2017. Heading into the new year, most economists are expecting the U.S. growth to pick up. The labor market remains strong, corporate profits are trending up, and the price of oil is stabilizing, and inflation has also normalized. The Federal Reserve is expected to accelerate the pace of rate hikes up to 3 times this year, after just 1 rate hike last year, and also the year before. One major change this year is expected to be fiscal policy. After the election, new fiscal stimulus is expected in the form of tax cuts for workers and corporations, as well as an infrastructure package. This recovery is long in the tooth, and equity valuations are more expensive than average. Let's get to it. Does valuation matter? Yes, but mainly for long-term investors. On the left chart, we see the forward PE ratio explains the return over the next year with just a 10% correlation. But looking at the chart on the right, we consider the returns over 5 years, and we do see a relationship. The PE, or price of the market, and the expected return is inversely correlated. So what's the takeaway? Number 1, it doesn't matter over the next year. Number 2, it certainly does matter when we take a long-term approach. And number 3, with valuations above average, it tempers our return expectations over the next 5 years. Profits took a tumble over the past 2 years, and this page provides some perspective. On the left, we see the quarterly earnings. We see that since 2014, there's been a decline, but recently we've started ticking back up again. Economists note that as the price of oil and the US dollar has stabilized, earnings growth has returned in the third quarter of 2016. And for the fourth quarter of 2016, which has not been released yet, Reuters is expecting earnings to increase by 6.1% year over year, and I'll take that. This slide is one of my favorites because it illustrates an important key point. Long-term investors should not overreact to short-term volatility. Each year generally contains some sort of correction, with 14% average peak-to-trough declines in each calendar year. But in 27 of the last 36 years, or 75% of the time, the market has ended up positive for the year. In fact, we saw an 11% decline in the first quarter last year, that is the first quarter of 2016, and of course, we all know that the year ended positive. The Great Recession ended nearly 8 years ago, but many people feel like the recession lasted much longer. This slide shows why that is the case. Usually our economy has a long summer and a short winter, where the expansions last several years and the recessions last just over 1 year on average. The chart on the right shows the pace of the expansion is the slowest on record. So while the economy is growing, it has been a tortoise rather than a hare. And we don't have the final data out for 2016 yet, but the Atlanta Fed GDP estimates that the fourth quarter of 2016 was growing at 2.8%, which I'm happy with. This heat map shows economic growth across developed and emerging markets. We're looking at the last 2 years of data showing manufacturing activity. Green means that it's accelerating, and red means decelerating. At the top right, we can see the global number is 52.7. And just so you know, everything above 50 means we're growing, and anything under 50 means that we're contracting. The 2 boxes below the 52.7 show that the developed markets are right now stronger than the emerging markets. Another takeaway is that we're seeing activity accelerate across the world in the fourth quarter of 2016. The key message here is that we are seeing growth across the globe, despite what you might see or read in the news. Hey, thanks again for tuning in to the Peak Q Review for the fourth quarter 2016. If you haven't checked out my podcast, Finding True Wealth, I encourage you to subscribe today by searching Nick Hopwood in your podcast app, or you can listen online at peakwm.com. I'd also like to draw your attention to our award-winning UMAX platform, where you have access to hundreds of strategists and we can take diversification to the next level. So we give you access to the world's largest institutional money managers, yet you can also have a relationship with a certified financial planner, that's me, to help you understand what's important to you and help you make great decisions. And finally, if you are not familiar with my Income 360 concept, where we talk about diversifying your passive income in retirement to give you income from everywhere, give me a call today or visit us at peakwm.com. Thank you.